Hockey season has started again, which not only means I get to break out of my months-long depression, but it's also time to chirp the entire NHL. Now, if you're new to this, don't you worry your pretty little face. If you feel the need to click that dislike button, don't be shy. 1 out of 4 people hate these videos. All I ask for is that you leave a really salty comment as well so I have something to laugh at. Now that we got all that boring stuff taken care of, it's time to begin. First up, we got the mighty Ducks of Anaheim. I know they're not called that anymore, but I was thinking about Emilio Estevez earlier, and I thought the only thing more depressing than this guy's career is Anaheim's playoff attendance. I'm sure they're thrilled when they found out they're playing Edmonton in the second round because I knew they were going to at least fill up half their seats. I'm almost positive that all their home games were scheduled during commuter time so that they'd have the stuck in traffic excuse for all their fans. Don't worry, I'm only joking. I can feel all 10 of you getting pissed at me, so we're gonna move on. While we're on the subject of teams without that many fans, the Arizona Coyotes are up next, and I really hate chirping these guys because no one gets pissed because no one is fans of Arizona. If there are Arizona fans out there, please shout yourselves out in the comments. I've never seen one of you guys. Seeing an Arizona fan is just as rare as Sidney Crosby actually deserving the Conn Smythe. In all seriousness though, Arizona does have some good young talent. They just better not ruin them like they ruined Shane Doan. The only thing I hate more than Boston and a lot of their fans, except for you, Toogie, is Jack Edwards. The only way this guy could be any more of a homer is if he was married to some broad named Marge. I'm so glad I follow team on the Western Conference because listening to this guy's broadcast is literally like having a pine cone shoved up my ass. If you look up the term cruel and unusual punishment in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of me being forced to listen to a Boston home game. The Buffalo Sabres are up next, and I was really trying to think of a good analogy for this franchise. Well, here it goes. The word train wreck comes to mind, but that may be a bit too severe. I guess it's more along the lines of drunkenly crashing your new truck into a Tim Hortons at 4 a.m. Even after all is said and done, Ryan O'Reilly is still your next best bet for captain. That's where you're at, Buffalo. Now, you guys may recall the last time I did one of these things, I told Calgary that they needed some goaltending. What did they do? They got Mike Smith. Now, you've heard me say Corey Crawford is overrated, and he is, but there's nothing more overrated than Coyote goaltenders. That team made Ilya Bryzgalov look like an elite tendy. I rest my case. Sometime last year, I found myself watching a Carolina game on TV. I don't know how it happened. I was probably having a really good day, and I wanted to bring myself back down to earth a bit. Anyway, they were playing the Red Wings or something, so it was just a complete shit show, and the announcers were just talking about random things for about 5 to 10 minutes straight. I don't even really remember what that conversation was about, but at the time, I found that more interesting than the hockey being played. That's how trash you are, Carolina. Even your announcers have given up caring. I was really hoping that Patrick Kane would do what Patrick Kane does best this offseason, get arrested for something ridiculously stupid, but alas, just like in his latest playoff appearance, when he's needed most, he doesn't show up. How does it feel to have $21 million tied up in just 2 players, Chicago? But hey, Brandon Saad is back. When exactly are you guys going to lose him to the salary cap this time? Can we all just take a moment to laugh at the fact that Matt Duchene is still on the Colorado Avalanche and Nathan MacKinnon does not have the pieces around him to succeed yet? Joe Sakic may be the worst GM in the NHL right now. That's right, you can rest easily, Mr. Benning. I'm not going to chirp the Columbus Blue Jackets anymore until you guys can get out of the first round. This is getting fucking pathetic. That's it. No, I'm dead serious. There's no chirps for these guys. They don't deserve it. The Dallas Stars are almost completely irrelevant in the NHL by this point, and therefore, they're completely irrelevant to my video. That being said, I think I do have a couple cheap jokes I could do about them. The Dallas Stars have a lot in common with the Titanic. They both look good until they hit the ice. I'm not too sure if you guys were aware of this, but the best way to castrate a Dallas Stars fan is to kick his sister in the chin. Moving on to the Detroit Red Wings, the organization that thought the Joe Louis Arena wasn't good enough, so they went with the Little Caesars Arena. I guess ownership just wanted to make sure that their choice in arena names was matching their team's regression. Honestly, man, this franchise is in worse shape than Flint, Michigan's drinking water right now. Gary Bettman needs to put a team in Quebec, move Detroit back to the Western Conference where I can enjoy their downfall more thoroughly. Alright, Edmonton Oilers, This is your year to win the cup. No, I'm serious. You need to do it right now because I have no clue what you're going to do for money next year. All it takes is another Brandon Manning, and that's almost $13 million down the drain. Connor McDavid is indeed really good at math. He knows he's about to make 48 new Lamborghinis a year. Chiarelli, on the other hand, well, he better be Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting. Otherwise, there's no way he gets 19 other good players to play with him. Alright, Florida fans, you guys got to explain to me. Are you guys rebuilding still? Or are you trying to be competitive? Because I got a notification on my phone that said you traded Jason Demers for Jamie McGinn. Straight up, like nothing else in that deal? What the hell are you guys doing? Also, the rest of us are never going to stop giving you shit for not re-signing Jágr. The man is a legend. Alright, so the LA Kings suck donkey dick. We all know that. But here's the funny part. I googled LA Kings players to look for a victim, and there popped up in a row all the pictures of the current LA Kings, and I just thought to myself I would punch all these guys in the face, but why do that when I could just get Slava Voinov to do it? Put them in wigs, stuff their bras, it'll be perfect. And there it is, I hit my quota, only one domestic violence joke allowed, but it couldn't have been on a sweeter target. One of my favorite parts about franchise mode in NHL 18 are the Minnesota Wild, and I'll tell you why. You just wait till Parise and Suter are past the age of 34, and then start trading for Minnesota's picks. Honestly, Minnesota, what the hell were you thinking with those contracts? Anyone want to take bets on when Parise is going to get bought out? Suter might last, but Parise is definitely getting bought out. Alright, so you know how they put an asterisk next to the name of an athlete who breaks a record but maybe didn't do it that fairly? We need to put asterisks next to the cup victories of Montreal when there was only like 6 teams in the league. What the hell is that crap? You guys are boasting about cup victories you've had when your parents weren't even born yet. Back then, you had about a 16% chance to win the cup each year. These days, you have around a 3% chance, and maybe that's the reason you haven't won a cup in the last quarter of a century. Asterisk time, baby. Oh, I almost forgot. Back then, there was only like one round of playoffs before the championship, too. You guys are big fat phonies. Well, Nashville, I feel for you. You gave it your best and you came up short. But that's what happens when you don't have an offense. I have the perfect metaphor for that playoff series. It's like an unsuspecting Kelly Yarncroke getting punched in the face by Michael Haley. Taylor Hall has fulfilled his purpose and got the New Jersey Devils the first overall pick, in which they used to select Nico Hischier. Unfortunately, the only way this team has a prayer of being good in the next couple years is if Ilya Kovalchuk decides to come back from the KHL. Since that doesn't look too likely, you better hope that Taylor Hall still has some of that magic in him. And I don't mean his playing ability, because we all know that's going downhill fast on that team. Tick-tock, Islanders, you guys are gonna lose John Tavares if you don't start looking like contenders soon. On a side note though, was anyone else secretly hoping that they would take Michael DiPietro? I had so much material lined up in case they did that, but they didn't. So now this part of the video sucks, and I blame you, Islanders. The New York Rangers are up next, and I think you guys know what time it is. That's right, it's time to utterly destroy Rick Nash. Now, trading for Rick Nash is kind of like getting married. The only difference is, in the marriage, after 5 years, the sucking will stop. From now on, he shall be known exclusively as Rick Trash. You heard it here first. I am so glad that Ottawa did not make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Not because I dislike Karlsson or anything, but I hate trap hockey. Watching them play against Nashville for the finals would have just felt like the 90s without all the good players. There is a time and a place for 90s nostalgia, but it's not on the hockey rink these days. Get that shit out of here, Ottawa. Now, you may have heard that the Philadelphia Flyers drafted Nolan Patrick second overall. Pretty good draft lottery position, but just a reminder, they're not rebuilding, okay? Everything's fine. They are not rebuilding. They don't need a rebuild. They don't need your advice. They don't need anything. Philadelphia's fine. Stop asking questions. Now, you can call this a display of respect or submission, whatever you want to call it, but I'm actually going to give the Pittsburgh Penguins a pass here. Just because they did a repeat, and I don't want them to get a three-peat, so I'm getting some good karma going right now, so there you go. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins, congrats. Are you kidding me? Yeah, right. The three-peat is not happening. Crosby is one more headshot away from retirement, and that's why they're giving him trophies, by the way, if you didn't realize. If we all have to listen to you guys whine about Crosby losing an edge and going face first into someone else's stick, then I'm sure you guys can endure a mere 30 seconds of abuse. Or as the rest of us hockey fans around the league like to call it, the truth. If you ever find yourself in the San Jose area, you'll notice around here we all drink out of saucers. You want to know why that is? It's because we don't have any cups. I think the Sharks and the Rangers are just silently competing about who can keep their failed win now period going longer. I was almost expecting Yager to get signed by us in the offseason, but perhaps Doug Wilson has some tricks up his sleeve. Hopefully they don't involve Mikhail Bodker. Thanks to the St. Louis Blues, I don't feel as bad about my team not having a cup in 20-something years. It's been over 50 years for this team. You guys have no excuse. I mean, come on, you guys have had guys like Wayne Gretzky, Curtis Joseph, Brett Hall, Rob Brindamore, Al McInnes, Chris Pronger. Do I have to go on? And now you've decided to put your hopes in Alex Ovechkin 2.0, and I think the rest of us all know how that's going to end up for you. Just goes to show you, kids, good players don't make a good hockey team. Tampa Bay Lightning's success this season is almost 100% dependent on Steven Stamkos, and that's not in a good way. Is this guy made of glass? Because, oh my god, I've never seen someone get injured as much as this guy does. What a life though, man. You get paid millions of dollars to watch hockey. That's awesome. Hopefully he's able to avoid all contact this season, because if someone bumps him or even breathes on him, you know he's going out for 6 months. But I will give you guys props over in Tampa for completely ripping off Montreal in that trade deal. That was hilarious. Alright, Toronto, you have 3 years to win the cup, or I come there and beat the shit out of every single one of you. I still think that $6.25 million cap hit's gonna hurt you, but hey, what do I know? Oh, just that a little someone named Auston Matthews gets off his entry level in 2 years, and with the precedent that McDavid set, he's gonna want a shit ton of money. It feels like these contracts are just to inflate the cap artificially, and I hope the rest of the NHL doesn't budge and these guys are stuck with those ludicrous deals on their teams. The Vancouver Canucks. This time, they decided to sign Tomek Vanek in the offseason. Oh my fucking god. No, I'm sure it's gonna work out. You guys are totally making the playoffs, man. Yeah, totally. Either rebuild or don't rebuild. Trade the Sedins or don't trade them. Just make up your minds, or your fans are all gonna kill themselves. The only bright side is you did get a good deal on him, and he didn't offer him like 7 years like you offered Eriksson. Now it's time for the newest NHL team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, none of us know too much about this team yet. It's only preseason, but what is clear is that we know that they're going to have a better season than at least Vancouver, and their Twitter game is absolute fire. Unfortunately, I don't think they realize that that's not how you win hockey games. It actually takes 60 minutes of good hockey and not 140 characters, but, you know, they're new. They'll catch on eventually. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a good marketing strategy, but does anyone else think that there should be a grace period before a team's allowed to talk shit? Like, at least play about 5 regular season games and not lose them all. Well, good luck, Vegas. All eyes are on you. I haven't heard too much about the Washington Capitals this offseason, which is just fine, because I think they curse themselves every time they say they're going to win the cup. I mean, they're probably still not going to win the cup, but, you know, maybe they have a slim chance of getting into the conference finals, as long as they don't have to play the Penguins at some point. If Ovechkin is Superman, then Sidney Crosby is his kryptonite. That guy cannot win against the dude. Oh well, just try to win one more Rocket Richard and then make your way to the KHL, man. That's your best bet. The Winnipeg Jets have made the playoffs only one time since they've come back, and they got swept. I'm kind of starting to get a John Tavares vibe off of Mark Scheifele. Not that he's as good as he is, it's just that he's never gonna find success in the playoffs on that team. Yeah, sure, you've got a great young crop of talent. The problem is all your really good core guys are about to leave their prime, so you're shit out of luck again. When's the relocation happening? I'm excited. Oh, just thought I'd remind you, Line A is still not as good as McDavid or Matthews. Get wrecked. And that will do it for this edition of Chirping the NHL. I thank you all for tuning in. If you made it this far, you are indeed a trooper, so make sure you hit that like button, subscribe on your way out so you can come back, check out some of my other stuff. And if you don't, well, you're a piece of shit and I hate you. Nah, just kidding. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time.